What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It is your boy, Coach D Brown, former big leaguer, former first round pick with the Kansas City Royals. And I know people have been asking, man, we going on? Something's going on with a Facebook thing where it's showing that, you know, I wouldn't be on, but they sent a message through the streaming thing that everything is all good. For some reason, they got a little bugs stating that there's some issues going on with Facebook. So, but I'm here. We got a special guest. I know a lot of people have been talking about say what's up to Coach OJ and all this and everything here and there, but he's here. All right, I got Jackson State head coach. All right, Omar Johnson here in the building, man. Coach, man, what is going on? How you doing, Coach?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good. Everything's going well. Just trying to make the most of this situation.
All right. Speaking of the situation, man, I'm excited, man. I know um, it's a lot of story programs. You talked about, some of the other HBCU story programs, man. But me personally, I've known at least three off the top of my head. I'm sure you're going to tell me more of, some former major leaguers that I played with or against that, obviously are alums of Jackson State, man. So you guys have had a um, a story program, man, for a long time, producing a lot of big leaguers, man. And so, if you could, man, let's before we get into Jackson State, man, I want to know more about Coach Johnson. Tell me a little bit of background on you. So, Coach, if you could go back, man, take me back from the beginning, and then I want you to where you've been. Yeah, I know you've been down there for a minute down there in Jackson, but I want to hear from the beginning, man, how it all started, man.
How far back when I started coaching or playing?
Nah, man, I want you to
Actually,
go back to where you from, playing career to start a coaching, and then kind of give me the whole gamut, as quick as you can, man.
okay. Well, I'm from Miami. I'm from actually Liberty
Okay.
City, but not
Uh-oh.
around sub. And from I played ball at Miami High, and then I went to North Alabama, and I played there for a couple years, and that's when I started coaching. I know that was a little quick, but I'm inner city kid. Had a great opportunity that I took advantage of some great opportunities because I could play a little bit, and it led to the coaching. And I started coaching at North Alabama, and I stayed there until about 2000. Then I came over here shortly after that, and I was really fortunate to meet Coach Brady, and he kind of gave me an opportunity to be the head coach here, and it's been a great experience, ever since. But I've been here, I've been around. Fortunately, at North Alabama, we had an opportunity to go to a Division II World Series. I coached the German national team for a couple years, so I've been to a baseball challenge, I've been to a World Cup, I've been to a European Cup. So baseball, it's been really good experience for me.
Man, good deal, man. And for the listeners, man, that's chiming in, man, as these guests come on, man. Remember, I know plenty of my listeners are regulars, man, but I always like to give y'all a shout out where y'all listening from, man. All right. So shout out to everybody that's, I've kind of posted and commented on, but I still want to know because I always get these, handful of followers that I don't know what I haven't seen or anything before. So just post where you calling in from and listening in from. So Miami, all right, Liberty City, all right, man, all right, good old Florida, all right. So man, so you get to Jackson State, inherited a top, a very good and well known HBCU program that's been producing talent for many years, man. If you could, Coach, man, for my listeners listening, let's if off the top, I know two or three. I know I'm missing a handful of more. So if you could just name some of those alums, man, that off the top that you could give, that went to Jackson State, man.
I would hate to leave anybody out. We have when you walk into our facility, right as soon as on the press box, we have a list of everyone who signed a professional contract. At this point, it's 3 signs up there. Man, it's well over 150 people. It's
Mm.
amazing that the tradition that they've had here from oil can to West Chamber. It's amazing. Marvin Freeman, it's some guys that really put some time in big leagues that came through here, and you'll be surprised to know, because when a lot of people come in, they never realize, oh, that guy, I seen him play before. He's on that sign, and it's amazing. I can never name them all. That's a couple of them. And Allcan still comes back. Freeman, I'll see him out recruiting every now and then because he does a lot of coaching in Atlanta. Just guys. Whenever I go to Chicago, it's a big turnout of former guys. We've had 2 number 1 draft picks here, and that's a lot of time unheard of. I'm talking about overall. Earl Sanders, he's
Mm.
put a little Toronto. So it's been some really talented guys come through here. We that was my main goal to kind of continue the tradition and try to continue to recruit those caliber athletes that Coach Brady had coming through here.
I didn't know Oil Can. I didn't know Oil Can was from Jackson State. I didn't know that. See, you know what I'm saying? So shout out. I know Marvin was from there. And my boy Dave Clark, my boy Clarky, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Dave Clark, man. I know he.
Dave comes back every winter. We have a little camp here, and he'll come back, and we'll have the camp. And actually, believe it or not, Curtis Grandison sister teaches English here, so he comes back and throws a little camp here in January also. So it's a nice baseball environment coming over here.
No doubt about it, man. So let me give a little shout out to people listening in. Coach, give me a minute. Josh, what's going on? ATL. Josh said he will be at the field. That's OJ. All right, at the ball field. All right. Jansen, what's up? Michigan in the house. We got Dorset, what's going on right there, Philadelphia area, Mississippi. All right. Tasha was good, right outside of Jackson, right there too. All right. Jeremy was good. Rodney was good. Jerry was good. D-Rob, Cali in the house. What's up? The White, Powder Springs, ATL in the house. Savannah was good. Bob was good. Sergio, ATL in the house. Strong, ATL representing. Reg was good. All right. I'm listening to these other pages. All right. So, Coach, man, if you could. So, crazy thing about it, I just literally was in Jackson this weekend. My daughter tennis, but and I was like, I should just go right over there and just do the interview in person, man. But I had to get back towards this way. All right, but tell me a little bit, because I think 2 years ago was my first time ever to Jackson, Mississippi. I know, I want to know more about the campus life, man. So, talk about, as far as enrollment, anything that's going, an amount of kids that go to school there. Let's talk about the conference that you guys are in, and then we'll get into some of those players and recruiting and stuff like that. So talk a little bit about the city of Jackson, man, Jackson, Mississippi, man.
Well, the whole area, the surrounding areas, Jackson, Madison, Pearl, Clinton, it's about roughly 400,000 people. So it's a lot bigger than what most people think. The university, we normally have enrollment that fluctuates between 6 and it's been as high as 12 since I've been here. So it's a lot bigger. Our campus is really beautiful. It's student friendly. We house roughly 3,000 students maybe on campus. So it's a large body of that are on campus. Our business department, our engineering department, our meteorology, chemistry, those are some of our outstanding programs. We're one of the largest. We always graduate more African Americans with upper level degrees than anybody else in the country. So it's you come here, you get a great education and a great college experience, and it's definitely student friendly here. After I came from North Alabama and I came over here, and it was such a nurturing environment, and I didn't attend the HBCU. So coming over here was an eye opener for me. Definitely, coming, from Miami, and then when I got to Alabama, it was like, whoa, my Lord. Then, it was so refreshing to get into a nurturing environment that, that it nurtures the students to become better students and allow, with all the tradition, allow them to have athletic.
Yeah, man, I know what I know about Jackson and Jackson State. Again, for my listeners, y'all know, because I talked about this with the Grambling coach, man. I'm a HBCU fanatic when it comes to them bands, man. And the Sonic Boom over there, you know what I'm saying? Jackson State, living in Memphis for a long time. So a couple times. Family done went out there to Tennessee State, Jackson State, classic out there in Memphis, man. So I'm well when it comes to Jackson and the boom, and and girls and all that, Whoa, all right, what I'm saying, it's quite the scene. Let me put it like that. All right, quite the scene. So, coach,
Yeah,
man,
that football team,
go ahead,
I'm
man.
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying our football team. You speaking of the band, shoot, our football team almost averages 25,000 fans out there. They always lead this division attendance, but part of that is to see that band because that band has a really large following.
And shout out to my boy Sylvester Morris out there in New Orleans, man. First round pick with the Kansas City Chiefs way back. You know what I'm saying? That's my dude. And he used to put me on the Jackson State a little bit. He from New Orleans, but he first round pick wide receiver out there from speaking of the football team. Shout out to my boy Sylvester Morris, man. Shout out to my boy Cat. I ain't talked to him in years, but that was my guy. So anyway, we got Nadine, ATL. Vidal was good. Darren was good. My boy Freddie Lewis, ex big leaguer, Freddie out there, the Mississippi boy. All right. He said I will be at a camp in January out there as well. All right, Freddie. Um, Coach Terrence Steele, what's up, Coach Steele? What's good? Thomas was good, baby. All right. So recruiting wise, man, because Jackson State, I mean, there's a lot of talent in Mississippi. We got like your neighboring states, Alabama, Tennessee, places like that, man. A lot of talent over there. But you guys are kind of, like you said, you've been producing major league guys for a while now. What's your recruiting base, man? Are you just strictly in the Mississippi area, or do you go in and out outside of that area?
No, we get kids from all over. Like I said, I was fortunate to be with the German national team for 5 years, so I had some international connections. So we've always been able to get some kids from the Bahamas, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. But the vast majority of our kids are Mississippi, Georgia, Florida. In those areas, we get a lot of kids from Georgia. Recruiting is a challenge. Recruiting is a challenge. Just a lot of hurdles. You have to be able to maneuver yourself around. Um, get them from all over. We're not limited. We have couple kids from California, a couple from Florida, a couple from Texas, a couple from Chicago. We get them from all over.
How are you finding those kids? Are they just reaching out to you, or are you seeing them at showcases? Like, how you get a kid from California to come down to the deep south of Mississippi, man?
Well, we'll get out. We'll get out. We try to get out as many times as we possibly can with our limited budget. Just we go to junior colleges showcase. We go to the big Jupiter and the things all the events they have in Atlanta. We have a baseball camp. Chip puts on. So we have a lot of events that we try to get out to, and recruiting is a big part. Even with our limited funds, we're on the phones, we're watching video, we're getting recommendations. We don't turn any avenue, turn anybody away from helping us when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah. So speaking of funded and not, are you guys fully funded, or are you guys not fully funded?
No, we don't have our full lot chips. We've never had it. Actually, this is the most I've had. I think I have 10, right under 10 right now. But it's many years that I only had 6 scholarships, and we made it work. We made it work. I'll never be out there and about that. That's just a part of operating, and you got to learn how to operate within the funds or the budgets that you have.
I mean, that's crazy when you say, 10. So how does that work? How is it just because of the wins and losses? You guys, just people, the ads and stuff like that, believe in you more, to giving you more opportunities to get better talent. How do you go from 6 to 10?
Well, I'm sure they believe in us, and I'm sure we've been really fortunate. Last year because of the shortened season, but we've won 30 games every year but one. Like 13 years out of 14 years, we won over 30 games. So
Okay.
we went to we've been one team in the country. We had our institution first NCAA victory So we've done a lot with those little with the scholarships that we've had. But it's the institution, it's the finances. Some of that stuff we can't control. Our AD right now, actually, he does a really good job. He's really innovative, and he's got us to this point, and we're going to get eventually to the full allotment before long. So it's definitely some cutbacks because of the COVID. But no, he's doing a really good job to get us there and get us what we need to be successful.
All right. A couple questions there. Josh says one roster spot, seasoned JUCO guy or higher upside senior.
Repeat that.
If you have one
Repeat
roster
that.
spot, yeah. If you have one roster spot open, are you going with a seasoned JUCO guy or a higher upside senior, high school wise?
We high school kids. We do. It depends the position. You kind of get a little bit more out of the high school kid than you do get out. Than you get out of the junior college kid. Most of the time, the junior college kid, unless he's really good to that point that he can come in and give you 2 good years, but most of the time you really only get 1 good year because it takes that year to get acclimated sometimes to the system. But that the high school kid, a lot of times we get 3 years out of him because that the growing pains of that first year, and then them next 3 years, most of the time he's a productive player. We like the high school kid, but it definitely has to be a good combination of them both. You can't have a bunch of junior college kids and you have a bunch of high school kids. Definitely when it comes to competing, and then you also have to look at the academic part of it. The APR, it's really important, and you can't have too much turnover. You got to be able to keep these kids here on campus and eligible and matriculating through an institution to get their degree. So it's a fine line between that.
All right.
I hope that answers.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it did. All right.
Oh,
You said what?
no, I was just reading the name. Reading the name. He
Oh,
that
okay.
Josh was two-time pitcher of the year for this conference.
Really?
He was
I know.
good. Oh,
I know. You got. I know he got his. He's been a quality follower, man, and the great questions. Great. It's always get them good baseball guys, man. That's been know the game and ask solid questions, man. So yeah, Josh is. I could tell you don't play the game for a while, so he does a good job with, I think coaching kids now, man. But Stella says, Coach Johnson, are you having any camps anytime soon? Have a 2021 shortstop.
well, I definitely like to see the 2021 shortstop, but camps, that it depends on the institution when they're going to allow us to have kids on campus. Right now, our team's not on campus because of the COVID. So we're trying to figure out the Zoom deal and trying to communicate with them via Zoom and workouts and stuff like that because they didn't want to have liability issues with having the kids come back and spread any kind of COVID.
All right, Stella, I think you put in there in Texas. Um, Holler at me if you could, Stella. PM me. I'm hosting a couple of showcases. Coach Johnson. I'm gonna reach out to Coach Johnson behind the scenes and get him on my streaming. I got all the other HBCU coaches that'll be listening, at least looking in on the streaming thing. So, depending, I think you're in Texas. I just saw that 6'2" senior in Texas. Send your video to Coach. I ain't gonna tell you not to do that, but if you want to come, compete a little bit, go ahead and holler at me, man. Anyway, shout out to Cynthia. What's going on, Louisiana in the house? All right, a lot of people listening in. Tyler Johnson says, "What is the best way to reach out to become a GA?"
Well, email, resume. That's about the best way. I remember when I was a graduate assistant. Actually, I was the graduate assistant at the place that I played, so it was a lot easier. But if you're looking just to kind of move around, the best thing to do email, and then reach out, make a phone call to the coach. That might be the best route to go when it comes to that.
All right. Brandon James says, "Almost coach there. Coach Johnson's a great guy. Hope you're good, Coach Johnson." Brandon James says that. Let me see here. Going down the line. Let's see here. All right, Cynthia. Shout out to Cynthia. You little love right here. Cynthia says, I have a 2021 first and third baseman in Louisiana. All right. Coach, I'm gonna get my assistant if it's cool. I'm gonna get my guy that listens in with me, man. If it's all right, if I send your email, what's the best
Yeah.
way? Twitter, email for these parents and that got some ball players that they want to see want to send you some video on their kids, man. What's the best way to reach out, man?
Yeah. Send it. You can share my email.
All right, cool.
Share my email. Send us the videos. I'd like to know the year and ACT, SAT score.
All right, you heard that. I hope my parents listening in. Jacob, what's good, baby? What's going on? Texas in the house. Asia, what's going on? Arkansas in the house. What's up? All right, Thomas, what's good? Lonnie, what's good? Lauren says, shout out to my boy Roosevelt Brown. We just talked about Rosie yesterday. Coach Omar has Rosie Brown's little cousin, Chris Prentice, on his squad. All right, shout out to my boy Roosevelt Brown. Can he hit like his cousin?
Chris can play. Yeah, can play.
Shout out to my boy Rosie. All right. Can somebody come on an unofficial visit to your campus, Coach?
Yeah, technically you can come on an unofficial visit anytime, but since the COVID, we haven't been allowing people to come. But we have really no control over the unofficial visit. I'm always available. I'm always around on campus. And I'm either here at the baseball field or at my office most days. So now it's that's a kind of sticky situation right now because of the situation we're in. Typically, I would say, yeah, come on. The thing about Jackson State is once you come and see the environment, it'll make you feel a lot different about coming here because it's a really nice environment, really nice campus.
Yeah, I was growing up in New York, man. I was always terrified of Mississippi, man, and um, for various, all the stuff you hear and see on TV, and uh, I was just saying that 2 days ago, while my daughter was down there, we was playing, and we were in the Ridgeland area out there in Ridgeland, and I was just saying, man, this that was our third time down there, and I was just, I always kind of like the city. It's just big enough, it's just small enough, you know what I mean? And you know, for it being Mississippi, and then do you do you deal with that type
Well,
of stuff when you get a California kid or a New York kid or Chicago kid and scared to come down to Mississippi like I would be, you know what I'm saying, if I was in high school?
well, it's the same. When I first came, you hear everything from the '60s, and it's a lot of stereotypes and stigmas that you got to overcome. But I always say I'm in the comfort of my own environment. A lot of the things that's happening out in the country right now is definitely not happening here because of the ratio between the races. It's a large population of black people here. It's a great environment. You have to come. That's why I say you come to the campus, you come to the city, you come to see yourself. It helps. It helps you, feel comfortable about being here. But yeah, I deal with it. I have to explain that a lot of the times. Um, it's just a part of it at this point. I've been doing it so long here. Once they get here, it's a totally different environment. And trust me, we have kids from all over. We like I said, we have a South African, was on our team. We have several Africans every year. So you're bringing people into this environment, and they're functioning in this environment. So that tells you how nurturing, how safe the environment is. We have them literally from all over the country. If you look at our roster, from all over. We have a Canadian on our team. We have you know Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, and then black kids from everywhere.
Good deal, man. I like it, man. United Nations over there representing over there, Jackson State. So, uh, James says, can you explain to parents what are some of the main things you guys are looking for in a player to play at a D1 level?
It depends the position. Obviously, if he's a pitcher, he's got to meet certain velo numbers. So it varies, but we look for players that can run, that are really athletic. Um, so it'll vary. If he's a shortstop, obviously he has to have decent hand. He has to have enough arm to play shortstop. Catcher, if we've been very fortunate to have a lot of good catchers come through here since I've been the coach. Um, the, the the catchers have to be able to receive the ball well and be able to throw. And in our system, our catcher, they're involved with the game a little bit more because they call the majority of the game. I may call a couple pitches, but the catcher's still calling the majority of the game, and we really work on that during the fall to get them prepared.
All right. When you say you like guys that can run, what are you looking for time wise? What's a good time wise from a 60-yard perspective that all right, this kid can run.
Well, we've been really fortunate to have a lot of guys that can run. We were just talking about it a minute ago. We've been in the top 10 in stolen bases ever since I've been here. One year we stole 214 bases, and we led the nation a couple times since I've been here. But in our outfield right now, we have 6'4", 6'4", 6'5". So you talking about we have three guys out there could absolutely fly right now. So that's above average speed, but we most of the time we get guys 6'6", 6'7", but we look for those guys that are plus runners because especially for some of the stuff we do, and we teach them how to play. We teach them how to play the short game, and we teach them how to steal bases, what to look for, what to anticipate. So that's some of the reasons we've had success because we're siding with guys that can do multiple things. The running don't go to a slump. You miss it a ball, you still get on base. You know,
I love when y'all say that, man, because not enough kids understand that when you say that. You know what I mean? They don't understand speed don't slump, man. You know what I mean? And they steady trying to hit big flies and striking out left and right for these kids that can run instead of putting that ball on the ground and putting pressure on that defense, coach. You got to get on you got to get some of your players' butts about that, or you ain't got to worry about that over there.
It's a battle sometimes, but it's a fine line between the two because you don't want to they're caught up on hitting the home runs. They're caught up on hitting the home runs, so you don't want to take that from them. So the terminology has to kind of fit. It's a fine line between okay, I want you to hit more line drive ground balls than I want you to hit fly balls. But we kind of figured it out. Sometimes it depends on the player. So but that's important. They try to get them to understand how we play, how we it's important to gain that base. It's important to be able to score a runner from third base with less than 2 outs. It's just try to teach them how to score runs, how to win a baseball game, not necessarily just get up there swinging a bat. Hitting behind runners and things like that. We really talk to these guys about that and helping them to understand, everybody always, what's your approach? Well, your approach is dictated by the situation in the game a lot of the times. You're just not up there just swinging. You're up there doing what the game tells you to do.
So tell me when you've been at Jackson State for a long time. I'm gonna ask my own questions and then get back to my to the followers, man. But I want to know from a coaching standpoint because you've been coaching now at Jackson State for a minute now. Have you seen over the last 10 plus years or so, the difference of the kids, the talent may be high, but the IQ may be a certain level? Or do you see the kids having better IQ and the talent level overall? Like where do you see there a difference of, say a kid 10 plus years ago coming into the campus? Do you feel like you have to do more coaching now? Or, the level is so good that, man, you're surprised. Where's that in the last 10 years?
No, it varies. It varies, and it depends on how much baseball that kid has played. It depends on the part of the country they come from. You think about an Atlanta area where those kids are playing a lot of baseball. So, the thing you kind of not necessarily the IQ, but the importance of winning and losing because a lot of times they're playing to showcase. They're playing they with a bunch of kids they don't really know. So winning and losing is not a priority. As long as I get me, I'm all right. That's the mindset they have a lot of times. So to get them to play in a team concept, that's one of the biggest difference that you try to encourage the team instead of the individual stuff. And they'll realize that once the team is doing well, the individual stuff will come. Um, that's one of the biggest deals. And just simply playing. You think about how we played growing up. We didn't have a coach with us all the time. We were just out there playing sometimes. they don't do that now. Every time they play a baseball game, it's something that's organized. It's the time that we're in, but get to understand that the winning and losing, that aspect of it, and the winning is very important. And because on the high school teams, you're trying to go to state, you're trying to win your district. You playing with a buddy that you grew up with, you've been with him the last 5 years of your life. They don't, a lot of times they don't have that concept. So
Mm.
that's one.
Mm. With the let me get my, because I can keep asking my questions, and let me get my Josh says, once you get to the university, it's over. How do you think they got Walter Payton? All right. Russ said, all right. Russ says, have you defeated any Power Five schools, and what's your record against Southern and Grambling?
I don't know my record against Southern and Grambling offhand, but like I told you, if you look up our record, I've won my overall record, and this might put it in perspective. Um, I'm like 435, 36 around that way, and 200 and something. So we've had a lot of success here, I think we should have a winning record just against just about everybody in our conference. Just about. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty close. We've beat. I told you we beat the number one team in the country in the regional in 2014. We've beat ranked teams and non-conference teams just about every year that I've been here. We've always been able to do that. And some years multiple times. So it's we compete well outside of our conference. We've been really fortunate, and that tells you what kind of players we've been able to get to be able to do that.
Good deal. I appreciate the parents and the followers listening in, tagging other people in here. It's one of the biggest shows so far, it's views. So I tell you, Coach, all right, they on to see you. They on to see you. I want that love. You know what I mean? I want to have Coach Johnson on here with me every day to get these type of views. All right. So anyway, and then let me stop playing. All right. We got Robert said, what's a good pop-up time? Catcher wise, what do you like pop up time for catchers? I guess that's what you mean.
Well,
what's the time for catcher to run?
a good pop time, obviously a 2.0 is average. If we can get a guy 1.8, 1.7 would be great. 1.9, somewhere around that way. That gives you a little leeway, but nothing above a 2.0. We know that it'll be tough to a pitcher have to be really quick to the plate to give that guy a chance to be above 2.0.
All right, and I know he may be asking too. Catchers. I don't know how you feel about them running, but they usually are not speed demons. But what do you like for the catcher to run in the 60?
Well, I like to throw and catch. that the other guys will be running. The outfielders, the middle infielders. Him, that's an important position. He has to be good at. He has to be good. I'll tell you our track record on catchers. We've had, since I've been here. Vidal signed with Kansas City. Carlos, he signed with Chicago, and Giovanni, he signed with Tampa. So we've been really fortunate to have some guys sign. So we really put a lot of stock in looking for a catcher. It's a couple guys we're looking at right now, very interested in. Really, we get them locked up.
What's so on the average year, let's say last 10 years, what's on the average? How many kids you getting drafted? Is it an every year thing, or is it just spotty? What's going on?
It's spotty. It's like anything. Like in any other place. We've been fortunate to have one sign a professional contract just about every year, but like the last 2 years we hadn't had a kid sign. So it's how it is. Scouting is a whole different world than actually trying to win a baseball game.
All right, my boy Rick out of Massachusetts, I guess he don't mind coming down to the dirty like that. He said, shout out to my boy Rick, says, are you still looking for a 2022 catcher? Love the fact that you let them call the game.
Yeah, we are actually. Our catcher now is a senior this year. 21, 22, we'll definitely be still looking for a catcher.
All right, you hear that, Rick? So again, I posted the email information on there. I'll post it again later. Rob says, what are you looking for miles per hour from pitchers?
It varies. It varies between right and left-handed. Obviously the left-hander doesn't have to have as much velo as a right-handed guy, but it's Division One, so we want some guys upper 80s. And if they're not upper 80s, they got to be guys that can really pitch, throwing multiple pitches for a strike. Um, so and then lefties. We have a lefty on our team right now that's a strike throwing machine, and he competes at 82, 83. But that's the rare case. But he can really pitch. He throws 3 pitches for a strike, and he can throw them any count. So if a guy doesn't have the velo, he's got to be able to pitch. Got to be able to change speed. And he's a left-handed dude, so he handles the bases, the runner, base runners. So it's a lot of positives, and he's a middle relief guy. So
The he ain't a starter. The 82, he ain't a starter getting all those strikes. He ain't no starter.
he comes in when it's tight. He's got a big heart.
I love it,
So
man. I love it. You got to, man. Let's go with uh Eric says, Coach, what do you think about this launch angle stuff?
I'm still a big line drive ground ball guy. Um, it's the kids. It's a lot of fly balls, a lot of strikeouts, and sometimes that's not productive in winning the baseball game. At some point, you got to be able to hit a ground ball. Like I said, one of our main philosophies is to get the run at third base with less than 2 outs, to be able to not get a hit to score a run. Because it's hard to get consecutive hits like that. And you start hitting more balls in the air, more balls in the air. And I just told you, we have a bunch of guys out there to roll down. So we actually like sit and take BP and they hitting a bunch of fly balls. It's like I get excited because I know these dudes gonna ball. But it's the team that create that backspin and drive those balls. Those balls catch. So I just don't like all the fly balls being hit. But at the same time, I understand it's different. It's different philosophies. You got to get up there and teach your kid what works for him. If you got him up there talking about launch angle and he's 5'6", I think you setting it back a bit, because he won't be a productive baseball player because he won't ever put up the power numbers to actually do it unless he's just that rare Mookie Betts dude. You know what I mean? So, but
Rookie, Mookie top 2 or 3 in the league, so that's extremely rare. All right, I'm agree with you, Coach. Man, too many of these coaches teaching the wrong dudes this launch angle stuff, man. But Corey said, what are you currently recruiting for, and also what velo would you be looking for in 2023 pitchers?
well, like you're saying, we want some kids throwing upper 80s, and being able to locate and throw multiple pitches for a strike. Velo wise, if we can get one throwing 90 plus, we don't turn those down. We got a couple guys that does that too. But this year we're gonna have a big turnover because of COVID, and we had a lot of kids come back. So we like I said, we're looking for a catcher, we're looking for a shortstop, we're looking for a center fielder. And hopefully we find some bats on the corner. So we're losing 11 guys, so it's gonna be a big turnover for us.
Like you lose, like next year, right? After the 2021 season, or right?
Just
All
yeah, because
right.
we returned a bunch of.
Okay. Cynthia says, do you recruit out of Louisiana?
Yes, yes, a lot.
All right. All right. Appreciate this, Coach. Let me try to get all these questions in here. D Rob, my boy D Rob says, out in Cali, said, when beating these bigger Power Five and D1 schools, are some schools hesitant to play? Y'all for ranking purposes?
Yeah, some schools does it, and then some schools just play the play. But it's a math equation. Some of these schools try to put together, this is how I can get on that large bid. So when they start trying to put the math equation together to get on that large bid without having to win their conference, sometimes scheduling games become difficult. But we've been really fortunate, and we've been really competitive in our region. So sometimes it is tough to schedule some games. It's just the nature of the beast. You want to take a chance and lose to somebody, and then it may. We went up and beat Kansas. What is that? 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago we beat Kansas and knocked them out at large opportunity. So.
Yeah, I had Coach Bryce on. He's been a guest on the show, Coach Bryce. But Stella says, how do you feel about utility players?
Oh, like I said, we've always been limited with scholarships, so we want guys to be able to do multiple things. Definitely, you can pitch and position. That's awesome. We look for those guys a lot of the times because it's a different mindset when it comes to a player that's actually pitching. But you can get more out of the player. That's one less player we need to have on the roster.
All right. Next question, Coach. All right, my boy Larry, he going. My boy Larry said, Coach, man, what's up with Jackson, Mississippi? He said, do you like? He said, do you recruit locally out of Jackson? I'm sorry, that's something.
Yeah, we many local kids. We got a couple on our team now. We've always, when I first got here, the majority of the team was some guys from right around this area. I think Ryan Jackson, Chevy Doris. We have some guys that are right here that are within 10-15 minutes from campus.
All right. Jansen says lefty Cologne from Puerto Rico. Is he pretty filthy?
Yeah, he can pitch a little bit. No people know our roster, huh?
Yeah, I think they look it up. Yeah, they be looking it up. All right. Shout out to my boy Renfro listening from Rawlings. Corey says, how early do you start recruiting?
We don't ever stop. It's a ongoing process. It's tough. That's the toughest thing. The most important things we do as a coach or in your program is recruit and practice. Everything else kind of take care of itself.
So you said, I heard you, Coach, but say it again, Coach. You said the toughest part is practice and recruiting.
Those are the most important things we do, is the recruiting and the practice. We got to be good at those. Got to put a lot of effort into those things. Otherwise,
so when you said
the game take care.
I'm sorry, Coach. I'm gonna cut you off. Keep going. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So when you say you never stop recruiting, so does that mean like a seventh grader comes into your camp and you like what you seeing? You just put a tab on like, yo, let me keep following this kid and see where he's from, blah 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 blah. Is that what you mean when you said you never stop recruiting, or what does that mean when you say that?
Pretty much, you go from one class to the other. You never think you're done with one until you actually have to be done. I've never met a coach that wouldn't take on another pitcher. You know what I mean? You never have enough. You know what I mean? It's just crazy how that works. But now you go from one class to the next and try to see some guys down the line. If you can see two classes ahead, it's an ongoing process. But it's such an important part of what you do. If you're trying to win.
All right. Shout out to my boy, like I said, my boy Renfro. We also got my boy Jose Vasquez, all right, Alabama State. You know what I'm saying, head coach listening in. So shout out to JV listening in too. All right. So yeah, man. Spying on you, coach. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he's just checking it in. That's my boy. Shout out to JV over here. All right. We got Dorset says, how does the guys coming back to FEC 2021 grad get playing time?
Be good enough to get it. What does that mean? Got to earn time.
Just go get it, huh? Go get that. Like it's plain and simple. Shout out to my boy Dorset. All right, we got Sergio says, what about a switch hitter, power hitter, 2024. Other teams pitch them carefully all the time or hit him with the ball. Do you still change? Would you still change his approach to the plate, or let him be, or let him be?
Well, if he can hit, he can hit. Um, I don't, we won't change anybody if they're having success. You know, obviously, if we got him here, he's probably doing. If we got him, he's probably doing something right to get here.
All right. The Russ says, "Why have you stayed at Jackson State? Have you gotten offers for other coaching jobs at bigger schools?"
Well, my family's here. Um, it, I haven't offered, the job, but Jackson State has always found a way to make me feel appreciated.
How I know that's a tough question, man, but is that something? Anyway, I ain't gonna. I ask you that behind the scenes. I don't want to put that on. Let me see here. Lauren says my son is a 2023 lefty throwing 82 miles per hour. Let me put it out here. My son is a 2023 lefty throwing 82 miles per hour. Can he and can hit and play center field? All right. I'm gonna put the
Yeah, you
email
said
up
some.
there. Right. It's video, man. All right. Corey says, "What age?" I guess he wants to know, like, what's the youngest you'll start recruiting a kid? Do you have a number? Or do you have an age?
Yeah, well, 16. 16. Start looking at some guys. I don't like to go too far back because a lot of times a kid will be good at 15 and won't be the same player at 17. You know,
Mm.
and you got to take consideration the talent of the kids they're playing against. So kids develop, at different times. Some kid are very average in high school, then all of a sudden he developed. You know the difference between 18 and 20. It's a world of difference. So you know,
Yes, it is. The Cynthia says, with the ban being lifted, do you think you all visit some 2021s at their high schools?
probably at this rate, they're probably not gonna let us out. But we'll see. We'll see. A lot of times the high school visits they're kind of rare. Because we don't generally do a lot of that. We've done it, but it's hard to get out sometime during the spring when you're actually playing and the kids in high school. A lot of the high school recruiting that we've done is summer stuff during the summer, during their summer teams and during the perfect game or like down in Jupiter like that. Um, and then during the fall we do a lot of junior college. We see a lot of junior colleges during that time. So it's tough to get out during the spring, but if we have a guy that we can send out, we'll send him out to see high schools if we could.
All right. My boy Mike and Callie got a handful of questions. All right. Let's knock them down one by one, Coach, if you could, man. What's the one thing you look for when looking at a player for your team?
Well, we like guys that can run. We said that earlier. Um, but he has to be able to do the requirements for that position. If he's a catcher, he's got to be able to receive the ball and it's a decent throw. When we talked about the pop times earlier, 1.9, 1.8 type guy, even better for 1.7. If corner infield, we're looking for guys that can hit, drive the ball. He's a third baseman. You got to have enough arm to make throws from third. If he's a middle infielder, shortstop, perfectly got to have enough arm to make throws from short. And he's got to be athletic enough to play the position, and decent enough hands to do that. So it varies from position to position. It's just not one. Say we like this particular thing, because that's just how baseball is. Everybody got to have a different skill set to play certain position.
All right. Who do you look for? Who do you look forward to playing every year? And do what's your rival? I'm adding on
Since
to the
Vasquez, like I look forward to playing Vasquez.
I like it. I like it, man. JV listening in. I like it. That's it. All right. Man. What kind of team are you? Small ball? Do you let players play to their strengths a bit, depending on the game?
It depends on their strength, on the situation of the game. That's going to dictate. But if we got a guy out there that can drive the ball, obviously we want him to drive the ball. But if it's late in the game, we need to gain a base to have an opportunity to win a game. We want that. We want them to play. It's our philosophy is we play a combination of everything, but we got to understand the importance of gaining a base. How important that is. If you play for one run an inning and you got 9 runs, and the nation, I think the run scored leader is like 7. So if you scored 9, you win most of your game. It's not a advanced philosophy.
All right. JV gave you the laugh out loud sign when you talking about that's who you want to play. So Brad says information on camps. When or where are they held?
Well, we have camps. They're here on campus, but we have to wait. Our campus is not open right now, so we can't have events on our campus. So as soon as we find out when they're going to open it up for us, then we'll post that, let everybody know. But we're looking forward to it. We've had a lot of interest. A lot of people want them down. We had a really big turnout last year, August. I think we had about 80 kids. So it worked out pretty good.
All right.
For a showcase.
Kurt says, do you recruit a lot out of the Midwest? I have a lot of players up here in Detroit.
We've been, my assistant goes to Detroit every year up there. So the Midwest, traditionally Jackson State, you was talking about Freeman and Chamberlain, some of those guys, all those guys are Midwest guys. Coach Brady made a living on going to Chicago and recruiting those guys. So it's not, we will run across. We've had players from Chicago, players from St. Louis, players from all over Detroit, So it's, if they're interested in coming down this way and they have the ability, we're definitely looking for them.
All right. John says, do you recruit in the northern part of the country? I get all the questions, Coach. You know what I'm saying? I know it may be repeated, but I want to make sure everybody get their love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have a kid from Milwaukee right now, so we get up there. We get up there and find them. Most of the time those are junior college kids that we'll go up and see in a junior college showcase or during the fall sometime, and we'll try to get them to come down.
Russ says, are kids learning bad habits by just playing and practicing for stats like velo? Seems like a lot of kids have the stats but don't know the game.
It varies with the coaching. That's they got so many workouts now. These guys are doing so. We put up a plyo wall because one of our pitchers like to do the plyo. We kind of what new thing they're into. I don't limit them from doing that stuff. I just kind of cater to it. Because sometimes they get caught up on the velocity and not on actually pitching. And pitching is totally different than just throwing it hard. It's not strikeout. Sometimes you need that ground ball to turn double play. It's a lot easier to get out in with that ground ball than trying to strike 2 guys out.
Yes. All right. My boy Rod up in Memphis says, does your school support or encourage 2-sport athletes?
Well, that varies from coach to coach, but I'm all for it. I've always I like football players. I like the mindset. We like tough guys. We have actually 3 football players on our team now. So we encourage it. So it's if a guy has the ability to do it, more power to them. This is a good place for that because we don't currently have a football coach right now, but the last couple guys, we would communicate with each other and work it out.
All right. What up, Chuck? Let you get in the house. All right. Gab is all right. My boy Josh says, take us a good since you're on the ball field, man. Take us through a good round of BP. What's a solid round of BP?
Solid round of BP. Well, we always start out going opposite field. We do rounds of five, so they have five swings each way. Five oppo, five middle. We'll have a breaking pitch down, and then we'll swing away. But we do our bunts. That for we'll do our situational round where they're hitting behind runners, hit and run, fake bunt hit, and then scoring a runner from third base. That generally our first two rounds are actually working on stuff we'll have to do in the game. So I hope that answered
All
his question. But
right. All right. Eric out there in Mississippi says, is he familiar with Chris Snowpack? Shout out to my boy, ex teammate of mine, Chris
yeah,
Snowpack.
yeah, I've known Chris a long time.
Yeah. All right.
Back in the
Uh, you said what?
back in the '90s. I've been
Yeah.
knowing him a minute.
Okay. Yeah. Snoopy played with me a little bit back in the day. KC. Um, we played against him too when he was with the White Sox. Um, Gavin says, is he going to be up at the September 26th? All right, Coach Sims want to know if you're going to be. I know I ain't talked to you about it yet. I just got you on there, but behind the scene, like I told you, I put on the showcase September 26th in Jackson, Tennessee, and so I have, like I said, I'm having all the HBCU schools, streaming in live. But if you can make it up there, you know what I'm saying, more than welcome.
Well, it's a dead period to the end of this month
Mm-hmm.
as of right now.
That's right. Your D1
So
schools. That's right. My bad. Yeah, you D1. My bad. My bad. You're right. You're right. That's why I'm doing the streaming. Yeah, but I gotta ask. It ain't gonna hurt to ask. Shit. James, when are you going to set up a camp in the DFW? Is that for me, James? No. All right. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that may be for me, Coach. I don't know. Talk about the DFW area next month, man. I'll put that out there for you. But let me see here. Tripper said, what would your preference be? A showstopper that is flat out awesome but has a bad cocky attitude, or a player that will work his tail off but is super humble and quiet? You
somebody you
thinking
can
hard?
win with. You want a team guy. You do want a team, but if a guy has enough ability to win games, hopefully you can help make him a better person. But you need both players like that. You need a guy that's a worker, and you need a guy that has ability. You can't win without some of the guys have ability. That's like guys saying they old saying with Bonds. Nobody wanted to be with him, but he's out there winning games for you. You kind of live with that. So that's
All right.
the coaching and being the different kind of personalities make everybody work together.
You ain't lying. Give me that star. Give me that star. We work on that attitude. Do you allow players? Cynthia, I hope we answered that. I think he talked about the two-sport athlete. Corey says, how much is it to attend JSU, and what are your requirements to receive academic money, and what levels of academic aid does JSU offer?
Well, it's about 18,275 roughly in state, and our out of state tuition is $1,000. Um, so out of state it'd be roughly 19,200 or something. Academic, we offer a lot of different academic scholarships. You got to qualify for them, and they're very competitive. It starts from a 3.0 with a 22 all the way up to a presidential scholarship when I think you have to have like over a 3.5 and a 5 high school kid. Junior college scholarships, we have a 2.0 with the junior college. kid graduates with a 3.0 and has his AA, they'll pay for a portion of his tuition. And obviously, Phi Theta Kappa, if they're Phi Theta Kappa and they have a number, they'll that full scholarship. But those are very expensive, and yeah, our kids, our athletes really don't get them a lot of the time. But you have to apply early. You can't wait to the end, because you just think about it, you have a whole bunch of students applying for that same scholarship, and we don't get any special treatment. So you get that. You got to get admitted and apply for that as soon as you possibly can.
All right. My boy David Renfro. What up, guys? Great program, a great staff. Coach Johnson is one of the most respected coaches in the game. All right, David Renfro. Russ says,
Appreciate that.
shout out to my boy Renfro. Do you still coach overseas? Is there a professional league in Germany or other parts of Europe? If so, any of your players played overseas?
No, I haven't coached international baseball now in about 5 years. Um, but it is professional leagues. It vary the ability level from country to country. Everybody has their league that they it varies the level. I've had friends that go over there and play in the leagues, and they have to coach and they'll pick up other jobs with the club. So it's ran through a club. They have like a club system in Europe, and that's how everything. All the sports come out of the club: soccer, basketball, baseball, everything, tennis.
All right. Coach, I appreciate your time, man. I'm gonna get you a few more questions in here, man. I realize that there are metrics that all coaches can take a look at. How much do you value the eye test when evaluating a player?
I like to see them. It's a lot. The eye test with me, because it's not just. Sometimes the numbers can be deceptive, but it's a combination of both. But I like to see the guy, and then you see a guy and he looks the part, and then you go look at his numbers, and now he batted 150 last year. Then you gotta make a different evaluation, because that's gonna tell you over the long haul. It is kids that are showcase kids now. They do good in workout and they don't compete well in games. So that happens. So it's definitely a combination of both. I want to see him play if I could, but then I do want to know a little bit about his history. So
All right. The how does the program support players when missing class for a game?
we do a really good job of keeping our kids on campus. We in the past we've played a lot of home games. We're fortunate to be able to do that because we're centrally located and it's really easy to get here. We're 2.5 hours from New Orleans, 3 hours from Memphis. We're shoot 2.5 from Tuscaloosa, three and a half from Birmingham. So we're right here of a lot of things. So it's easy to get to us. So we don't miss a lot of class. We've been really fortunate when it comes to that. But we take that really serious, really serious. We try to keep them in class. We do a really good job of graduating kids. And that's important. We Our administration, we have conversations almost monthly about APR and different things like that.
All right. My boy D Gibbs says, what player position generally receive the most scholarship money, and how much are you willing to give to a player?
Pitcher,
I knew you were gonna say that.
pitchers always anybody else.
Yeah.
That's it. All starts right there.
You ain't lying. Uh, the Lisa says, forgive me if this was already asked, but what are the ways coach is finding his players? Are they coming from a specific region or for his school?
No, we get them from all over, all over.
Okay. I'm a listen, coach. I'm a it's pretty much all I have. So upcoming camps, anything like that, man. Um, you know, I know you talked about it, man, but if COVID stays the same, say if it don't, and say it opens back up, man, are you having anything this coming finishing out the year in the wintertime, or is it just waiting to the summer?
No, if they open it up, you know, we want to do something here because we get out of school in November. So school's done for November. So either be the end of right after Thanksgiving sometime or beginning of December. We would try to do camp, you know, and get some guys. We've had a lot of people interested that want to come up and work out, and because we'll not only just have the camp with our coaching staff, invite some of the local junior colleges and local colleges to come because we got like four universities in this one area with Mississippi College, Sept, Tougaloo, William Carey. It's a lot, and that's not counting the junior colleges. So we try to invite the coaches over to take a look too. So it's a good opportunity for kids to come and be seen by multiple coaching staffs.
Yeah, they yeah, there's some quality schools over there, quality. We was just down there, some good competition too down there. So, coach, man, listen, um, I want you. I always have my coaches, my guests that come on, man. Take us out with a message, if you could, man. Think of something as I give my little parting gifts. Listen, I talked about this, man. Next month, I'm sorry, in 2 weeks, September 26th, we have a showcase up there, Jackson, Tennessee, Jackson State Community College. All right, I'm talking to Jackson State, University out in Jackson, but up in Jackson State, Jackson, Tennessee, we're having our showcase over there. So, coach, man, if you ain't doing nothing on that Saturday, man, I'd love to send you that link so you can get that stream and come check out some of the talent that I have on the field there. We are locking down a few more dates for October and keeping this, thing rolling. Listen, tomorrow we 4 p.m. tomorrow Eastern. We have another coach. I can't think off the top of my head right now. Who's coming on, but we have another coach coming on tomorrow. We feel pretty much all week, and then next week I'm gonna chill out for a little bit. We got a couple coaches signed up, but we're gonna keep this message going and switch it up just a little bit. All right. So if you could, coach, I love if you could, take us out with a strong message for my listeners listening in, man. Shout out to everybody that was on today. Great show.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and for all of those people out there that I see a lot of people have questions about being recruited. Do not limit yourself to one school. It's a lot of country. Just find out the best fit and the best academic situation you can get yourself into. Because the baseball, it might only last that 4 years, but that education will take them the next 20. So be careful. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, coach. Thank you, man, for listening. Thank you for joining me today. Parents, 4 p.m. tomorrow. Keep this ball rolling. All right. I appreciate the time. Appreciate everybody listening in. 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Coach, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for taking up the time and doing this for me, man.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Parents, 4 p.m. tomorrow. I'll see y'all. Peace.